All right, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the mechanics of a truly gripping thriller. Have you ever wondered how exactly a writer takes a totally mundane scenario, like getting pulled over, and injects it with enough tension to make your heart literally race? Well, to figure that out, we're going to deconstruct an excerpt from Miguel Cernak's short story, Trash Bags Have Many Uses, which is part of the novel Haley's Crossing Book 1. Over the course of this breakdown, we're going to examine exactly how suspense is crafted, step by step, word by word.
Okay, let's dive into this opening line. Miguel Cernak doesn't waste a single syllable here. With this one sentence, we are immediately hooked because the stakes are established right out of the gate. I mean, our protagonist Cal is being pulled over, which is stressful enough for anyone, right? But the detail of the ankle monitor, that instantly tells us Cal is compromised. He's already in the system, his freedom is restricted, and any interaction with law enforcement carries a massive, immediate risk. We hit the ground running with tension.
Section 1. Anatomy of a stop and establishing the stakes.
You know, a great thriller builds tension not just through what happens, but where it happens and who holds the power. And we see this right away in the sharp contrast between the vehicles. Cal sits trapped in this old Buick, while Sheriff Higgins steps out of a brand new, flashy Monte Carlo cruiser with its red and blue bleeders flashing. Right off the bat, there's a huge physical power disparity. The sheriff's authority is literal. Cernak really drives this home by describing the sheriff dropping a big, meaty palm onto the roof of Cal's car before bending down to eye level. Cal is trapped in his seat, literally beneath the heavy hand of the law.
And then the sheriff asks this question. You ain't thinking about leaving, would you now? Now, why does this matter so much? Because they are pulled over on Old Country Road, just a couple of miles from the Sutton County line. Combined with Cal's ankle monitor, this proximity to the border creates a high-stakes, deeply claustrophobic obstacle. Cal is at the absolute limit of his allowed radius. The sheriff knows it, Cal knows it, and we, the readers, know it. The geographical trap is perfectly set.
Section 2. Internal versus external dialogue and crafting the subtext.
A traffic stop is basically a performance, right? There's what you say, and then there's what you're actually thinking. And this brilliantly illustrates the duality of our protagonist. Out loud, Cal plays the perfectly compliant citizen. Morning, Sheriff. Roger that. Even giving a polite tip of his K-State ball cap. But internally, his thoughts are just filled with hostility, calling the sheriff an asshole and an idiot. This massive, tension-filled gulf between his polite exterior and his calculating, aggressive inner voice tells us that Cal is playing a very, very dangerous game of chess here.
But, you know, it's not just insults. Look at how Cal perceives Sheriff Higgins. Through Cal's eyes, we notice the sour stench of whiskey on the sheriff's breath. We see his jaundiced eyes, we hear his rough, gravelly voice, and we're introduced to rumors of how he won his badge through shady political corruption over a beloved opponent. So why does the author include all these cynical, dark observations? It's actually a clever trick to manipulate our allegiance. Even though Cal is the one wearing the criminal ankle monitor, this sheriff is painted as so incredibly unlikable and corrupt that we unconsciously start rooting for Cal to get away.
Moving on to Section 3, the decoy backseat and the art of misdirection.
Now, this is the absolute core of our breakdown. We're going to analyze how the author constructs a perfect, tension-diffusing alibi using nothing but completely mundane, everyday objects. But first, let's define our terms. Misdirection is the literary act of focusing a reader's and a character's attention on a harmless detail to distract from the true source of danger. When the sheriff presses Cal about where he is going so close to the county line, Cal just points his thumb behind him and says he's taking the kiddos out to Dipper's Pond, so they aren't stuck inside playing Mario Brothers. It's a masterful, completely relatable lie.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how we can actually treat these props like forensic evidence. The sheriff leans in to inspect the back seat, and what does he see? A glittery pink diary, a brand new Game Boy, a pound puppy sitting upside down in a sticky car seat, and crushed juice boxes. This hyper-specific inventory of innocent children's toys perfectly camouflages the one genuinely sinister clue hidden in plain sight, a nearly empty roll of trash bags stuffed in the door pouch. Because it's totally surrounded by candy wrappers and a pound puppy, the trash bags just look like part of the mess.
And the visual clutter works exactly as intended. The sheriff frowns, his eyebrows knit together as he looks at the empty back seat, and then he looks back at Cal. The sheer confusion of this messy, innocent back seat completely diffuses his suspicion. He just blows out a breath of air, annoyed, and gives up, telling Cal just to stay within his range and keep his nose clean. By leaning into the chaos of everyday family life, Cal successfully navigates the obstacle. The sheriff turns around, drives away, and the tension completely drops. Whew. Section 4. The macabre, final twist, and delivering the punchline.
But of course, in a thriller, when the tension drops, that's usually exactly when the floor falls out from under you. We've reached the structural climax of the scene, where the true nature of Cal's situation is finally revealed. As the sheriff drives away, Cal grins, puts the car in drive, and thinks to himself, I wasn't pointing to the back seat. I was pointing to the trunk. This is brilliant writing. So the crucial point is, with just 2 simple sentences, Cernoch dramatically shifts our entire perspective. He pulls the rug out from under the sheriff, but more importantly, he pulls it out from under us, the readers. We were so intensely focused on the children's toys in the backseat that we completely forgot to look at the whole car.
And boom, that brings us to the explosive macabre payoff, a human hand protruding from the black trash bags inside the trunk of Cal's old Buick. Suddenly, that seemingly innocent clue from the backseat inventory, the nearly empty roll of trash bags, makes a dark, terrifying kind of sense. The title of the story itself, Trash Bags Have Many Uses, just lands with an incredible punch. This is the ultimate proof of Cal's true, sinister nature, expertly hidden behind a calm demeanor and a sticky car seat. Which leaves us with a final, massive, burning question. Cal has successfully manipulated a corrupt sheriff, talked his way out of an incredibly tight corner while wearing an ankle monitor, and is now heading out on Old Country Road with a body stuffed in trash bags in his trunk. So, what is his ultimate endgame? Who is in the trunk, and where is he really taking them? That masterful use of suspense and misdirection is exactly what sparks the intense curiosity that makes you want to immediately flip the page and read the rest of Haley's Crossing. Thank you so much for exploring this incredible scene with me today.